Welcome to the Silenced History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos. The extraordinary photograph captures 9 European monarchs gathered at King Edward VII's funeral in May 1910, their ornate uniforms and ceremonial regalia representing the final gathering of absolute power before democracy's unstoppable rise. These royal cousins, including Kaiser Wilhelm II and Tsar Nicholas II, posed unknowingly for history's last portrait of divine monarchy, as their ancient bloodlines would soon be swept away by the revolutionary tides of modernity. The chaotic photograph captures Stockholm streets on September 3, 1967, the morning after Sweden switched from left-hand to right-hand driving, overnight in a social experiment that perfectly demonstrated humanity's struggle with sudden change. Confused drivers created massive traffic jams as an entire nation's muscle memory rebelled against bureaucratic decree, revealing how deeply ingrained habits can paralyze even the most organized societies when forced to adapt instantaneously. The remarkable photograph captures Soviet peasants experiencing radio broadcasts for the first time in 1928. Their weathered faces illuminated by wonder as invisible voices carried Stalin's promises across vast distances. These primitive devices transformed isolated rural communities into connected participants in the revolutionary social experiment, demonstrating technology's double-edged power to both enlighten and indoctrinate minds previously untouched by modern propaganda's seductive reach. The stunning photograph shows young Osama bin Laden enjoying a family vacation in Sweden during 1971, his innocent smile masking the darkness that would later consume him and terrorize the world. This ordinary wealthy Saudi teenager, surrounded by loving relatives in Western clothing, represents the terrifying unpredictability of human nature, proving that evil can emerge from privilege and comfort just as easily as from poverty and desperation. This haunting photograph shows an unknown resistance fighter whose incredible courage became legendary during World War II, her steely gaze reflecting the moral clarity that enabled ordinary people to perform extraordinary acts of defiance. Captured by the Gestapo and facing torture, she managed to disarm her Nazi interrogator and execute him with a single shot to the head, transforming from victim to victor in a split second that redefined the meaning of feminine strength. This chilling photograph shows a Japanese Unit 731 officer, his clinical detachment masking participation in history's most horrific medical experiment program that reduced human beings to laboratory specimens between 1937 and 1945. These scientists froze prisoners alive, performed vivisections on conscious children, and unleashed biological weapons on Chinese cities, proving that education and intelligence can serve evil just as effectively as ignorance and hatred. The haunting photograph captures Adolf Hitler inspecting the bombed ruins of his Reich Chancellery in Berlin, his hunched posture revealing the psychological collapse of a man who had promised to build a 1,000-year empire. Standing among the debris of his crumbling dream, the defeated dictator surveys the apocalyptic destruction that his megalomaniac ambitions brought upon Germany, demonstrating how unchecked power inevitably devours itself and everything it touches. This intimate photograph shows J. Robert Oppenheimer relaxing with his wife Catherine Kitty and young son Peter during a rare peaceful moment away from his world-changing atomic research, his gentle smile concealing the moral torment of creating humanity's most destructive weapon. The father of the atomic bomb appears as an ordinary family man, yet his haunted eyes reveal the psychological burden of knowing that his scientific genius had unleashed forces capable of ending human civilization. This remarkable photograph captures history's greatest assembly of physicists, including Einstein, Bohr, Heisenberg, and other legendary scientists whose collective genius revolutionized our understanding of reality itself. Their formal poses and serious expressions mask the intellectual revolution they unleashed through quantum mechanics, relativity, and atomic theory, fundamentally changing humanity's relationship with the universe and proving that ideas possess more power than armies to reshape the world. The fascinating photograph captures the Brantley family at their grist mill on Noah Fork. In 1903, their proud stance representing the backbone of rural American commerce before industrialization, destroyed these intimate economic relationships. For generations, families like the Brantleys operated these water-powered mills, grinding grain for entire communities while serving as social gathering places where neighbors shared news and gossip, creating bonds that modern convenience has forever severed. The heartbreaking photograph shows two South Vietnamese child soldiers sharing a cigarette while awaiting a North Vietnamese attack during the Vietnam War, their premature aging revealing war's cruel ability to steal innocence before childhood ends. These boys, barely teenagers, were forced into combat when desperate circumstances required every available fighter, their innocent faces contrasting starkly with the weapons they carry as symbols of humanity's failure to protect its most vulnerable members. The extraordinary photograph captures a daredevil attempting to set a world record in 1986 by spending 72 hours locked in a cage with 72 of India's most venomous snake species, his calm demeanor masking the constant proximity to death. Spectators watch in horrified fascination as the man sits among deadly cobras, kraits, and vipers, risking instant death for fame and fortune in a spectacle that questions humanity's need to court danger for entertainment and recognition. The peculiar photograph documents the Miss Correct Posture competition at a Chicago chiropractic convention in May 1956, where women's spinal X-rays were judged alongside their physical appearance in a bizarre fusion of medical science and beauty standards. This strange contest reflected 1950s medical obsession with perfect posture, combining healthcare with objectification in ways that now seem absurd, revealing how scientific authority can be manipulated to reinforce social control over women's bodies. The powerful photograph captures 15-year-old Dorothy Counts enduring racist taunts and jeers from white students on her first day integrating Charlotte, North Carolina schools in September 1957. Her dignified composure amid the hostile crowd exemplifying courage that adults twice her age failed to demonstrate. Her solitary walk through that gauntlet of hatred represents the extraordinary bravery of young civil rights pioneers who faced violence and humiliation to break educational barriers that had persisted for generations. The touching photograph captures legendary actress Marlene Dietrich sharing a passionate farewell kiss with her soldier boyfriend before his deployment to World War II in 1945, fellow servicemen lifting the couple high in a moment of joy amid uncertainty. Her dedication to supporting Allied troops became legendary, as she risked her career and safety to entertain soldiers and boost morale, proving that celebrity influence can serve noble purposes when guided by moral conviction rather than self-interest. The intriguing photograph shows 5 well-dressed gentlemen sharing drinks around a table in what appears to be the early 20th century, their formal attire and celebratory toast suggesting either legitimate business or clandestine speakeasy gathering during Prohibition. This moment of camaraderie frozen in time reflects an era when men's social rituals revolved around exclusive clubs and secret societies, creating bonds that shaped political and economic power structures still influencing society today. The somber photograph documents a moment during the Hungarian-Romanian War of 1919, showing military officials and civilians gathered around what appears to be a casualty or prisoner of war in the aftermath of World War I's chaotic conclusion. This brief but brutal conflict arose from post-war territorial disputes, claiming thousands of lives as new nations struggled to establish their borders, demonstrating how peace treaties often create more violence than they resolve. The atmospheric photograph captures a bustling Parisian street scene around 1900, with the iconic Eiffel Tower majestically rising in the background like a steel monument to human ambition and industrial progress. Horse-drawn carriages navigate cobblestone streets lined with traditional French architecture, while elegantly dressed pedestrians stroll past charming shops representing the romantic Belle Époque era, when Paris epitomized cultural sophistication and artistic innovation that would soon be shattered by global war. The disturbing photograph documents cupping therapy, a primitive medical treatment practiced in Finland around 1920, where heated glass cups were applied to create suction on the patient's skin in procedures that caused more harm than healing. This bloodletting technique was believed to cure various ailments by drawing out bad blood, representing dangerous pre-modern medical practices that demonstrate how scientific ignorance disguised as wisdom can perpetuate suffering for centuries before being exposed as quackery. The desperate photograph captures panicked crowds during a bank run in Michigan, February 1933, as thousands of terrified depositors rushed to withdraw their life savings before their financial institution collapsed under the weight of economic catastrophe. The Great Depression had destroyed public confidence in banking systems, creating mass hysteria that forced closures and deepened America's economic crisis, proving that financial stability depends more on collective faith than actual assets. The vibrant photograph captures the DDT Jazz Band performing in what appears to be an intimate jazz club setting, with musicians playing trombone, trumpet, clarinet, and saxophone in a cramped, smoky venue filled with passionate music lovers. The vintage posters and enthusiastic audience represent the authentic underground jazz scene where dedicated musicians kept the genre alive through pure artistic devotion, creating cultural movements that challenged social conventions and racial barriers through rhythm and improvisation. The remarkable photograph captures the Eiffel Tower during its early years after its March 31, 1889, inauguration, showing the iron lattice structure that was initially intended for demolition after just 20 years as a temporary World's Fair exhibit. Originally dismissed as an eyesore by Parisian intellectuals, this metal monstrosity became the city's beloved eternal symbol when radio technology saved it from destruction, proving that revolutionary architecture often requires time to be appreciated by conservative societies. The charming photograph captures the Swedish string band Sträng Bandit during what appears to be a community gathering in the early 20th century, with musicians holding guitars and mandolins surrounded by formally dressed townspeople in a pastoral outdoor setting. This scene represents the rich folk music tradition that brought communities together for cultural celebrations and social bonding, creating shared experiences that strengthened local identity before mass media homogenized popular culture across national boundaries. The remarkable photograph shows Edward Putsep, Estonia's first Olympic wrestling champion, posing in his competition singlet around 1924 with the determined expression of an athlete who would make history for his small nation. The future gold medalist competed in Greco-Roman wrestling at 3 consecutive Olympics, 1920, 1924, 1928, winning Estonia's first Olympic gold medal in 1924's bantamweight division, making him a national hero and pioneering figure whose achievements inspired generations of Estonian athletes. The powerful photograph captures 5-year-old Rachel Clemens' defiant refusal to salute dictator Baptista, her crossed arms and determined expression embodying resistance against fascist oppression with the moral clarity that only children possess. While adults around her comply with the regime's demands out of fear, this brave child's silent protest became an iconic symbol of moral courage, triumphing over political intimidation, proving that conscience recognizes no age limits when confronting evil. Every image you've seen today carries secrets that textbooks overlooked and history forgot to mention. If you're fascinated by the untold stories behind familiar faces and forgotten moments, hit subscribe and join us every week as we reveal the hidden narratives captured in history's most powerful photographs. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like this video.